Hi, we're here today to speak with Jack Boddy, who's an amazing composer, New Zealand composer, and he's creating a new work called Songs and Dances of Desire in Memorium Carmen Rupe, which is going to be on as part of Auckland Arts Festival this year on the 8th of March here in the town hall. So we're just going to have a quick chat to him today and find out a little bit about him and about the show and what he's doing with his life at the moment. So, Jack, thank you very much for coming up. You're based in Wellington.
Yes.
But you're flying up
Yes,
weekly.
it's as composer in residence with the APO. It used to be required that you lived in Wellington, and I had thought that maybe I might shift, but I like my home in Wellington. So nowadays they don't mind if one travels.
Comes back and forth.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's fine. But I really love visiting Auckland regularly.
Well, you used to live here, didn't you?
Yes. I studied here. I went to university and secondary school. And I have to confess, from those years, I was a bit contemptuous of Wellington. It seemed so small and parochial. Auckland was where things happened. But of course, I've caught the Wellington bug, and I love Wellington. But this work, the Songs and Dances of Desire, in fact, is a dream of mine. I think artists in their lives, they have big dreams, and you don't have too many of them because you know that it's going to take some effort to get them realized. This dream began 13 years ago, 23 years ago.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes. It was originally commissioned, it was my concept, as a ballet, taking the life of our Carmen,
Yes.
and interleafing it with Bizet's Carmen. So it moved between the two lives and looked at parallels and overlaps and so on. It's a nice concept.
Absolutely.
But the ballet company fell on hard times and the production was cancelled.
How devastating.
Yes.
I mean, that's just...
Well, yes and no, because sometimes fate's playing little games with us.
True.
And I thought about the concept and thought, actually, I can't see how this can be realized except it'll be too much a narrative on stage like that. And I thought it actually has much more metaphysical, symbolic levels in it. And so I recast it as a kind of a theatre piece for orchestra, a concert piece in a way, but with 3 singers and a dancer and a guitar soloist with the orchestra. So it has two levels to it. One is a celebration of the personality of our Carmen Rupe, and what she represents, and especially for me. I was inspired by reading his autobiography.
Yeah.
And I thought, wow, this is a fantastic life. And it's difficult to say he or she because it's presumed that he had a sex change. But I talked to him about this, and he said not. He went to hospital but got cold feet.
Really?
And didn't have it. But perhaps he was just stringing me along. Anyway, that's a diversion. To celebrate our Carmen in 2 ways. One, to have dances which are danced by a drag queen,
Yes.
representing the dances that Carmen herself used to dance.
Right.
So this is one level that we would recognize in my work, our Carmen Rupe. And another level is 4 arias from Bizet's Carmen.
Okay.
And of course, our Carmen knew about the opera, knew the story, went to see a production. She had an LP recording. So, she identified, that's why she took the name.
It was. I
Yes,
wondered about that,
yes,
yeah.
Absolutely. So we have 4 arias from Carmen, the 4 big numbers, which everybody will recognize, sung by a man. So it's a countertenor, so it's transgendered in that way. So from those 2 things, we recognize this is about campiness, transgenderism, and Carmen, what Carmen means to us. But there's another level about this, and it's anybody coming expecting sort of a campy fun evening might be a bit alarmed by what two female singers do. And they sing settings of songs referencing Maori music and Spanish music because of this. This is the connection. A Maori boy being inspired by a Spanish gypsy.
Yeah.
So the songs are actually from other languages, from Swedish and Russian, translated into Maori and to Spanish.
How fantastic.
Because I wanted the sounds of these languages and the sort of personality of these cultures to resonate in the work. But the songs themselves are the voice of women, but they're sung in low register, which in a very fierce way.
Which once again kind of
yes. I mean, it's sort of not feminism. Anti-feminine, anti-feminine kind of prettiness and demure, and we all know what the revolution of feminism in the 60s and so on gave us an awareness of the strength of women and the independence of women. And these poems represent the voice of women in their most powerful place. So I included these because I thought, why does a man want to become a woman? And I thought, well, maybe the man intuits that a woman has certain powers that a man naturally doesn't have. And one of these is seduction, the seduction of men. So if you're a man who loves men, maybe you become a woman so you can seduce men.
Right.
But also to understand that women have these other powers. And of course, in history, women have often been vilified and condemned, killed, because they're considered witches, because they have powers, knowledge, experience that make men afraid. And so maybe a man wanting to become a woman senses these things. So
it just takes you to all sorts of
oh
places,
yes, I listened yesterday. I listened to the whole thing, and my God, the poems are so dark. Fortunately, then we break out in some campy number and a dance, flamboyant dance, and that's great. Phew! but it's really about the serious issue of Carmen. Many people enjoyed her personality, enjoyed being friends with her, because she represented a good laugh, hilarity, campiness, flamboyance, titivation, all those things. But I believe that for a person to go through life and to assert her personality as strongly as Carmen did requires fantastic strength,
Absolutely.
Courage and conviction, and a sense of wanting to be who you are, to realize your inner self for the world, and the world can take it or leave it. So I knew her from a distance.
Yeah.
But then when this project was going to take off, I visited her in Sydney and spent some time with her, interviewed her, and collected material that would be useful for me, her tastes in music, for instance. So that was very valuable. And we had a friendship. We didn't meet very often, but she would send me little notes sometimes and signed photographs and so on.
Got to hear it.
And of course, she would have been invited to this show. And it's a shame that about 6 months ago now that she died. But on the other hand, I know that she would have been baffled by what are these women singing about. She wouldn't have, she wouldn't have, she would have been gracious, of course, but it would have been a bit baffling for her.
And so the music that you've written for the show, you were saying that you sort of got an idea of her own musical taste, so they've inspired what you've written?
So each of the dancers, Carmen, draws on Spanish music, and then Salome draws on Middle Eastern music, Hawaiian hula on Hawaiian music. What else do we have? We have Matahari, that's a strange one. It's sort of disco. Matahari, of course, is Indonesian. The name it means eye of the sun.
Oh wow!
So eye of the day, which is the sun.
Okay.
So I referenced cultural origins for those music, and likewise for the songs. Apart from taking Wise and playing around with him, the songs in Mali and the songs in Spanish. I researched music, stole maybe music from both those cultures. So the whole work is referenced to other musical cultures.
Absolutely. I was listening to some of your music. I'm not a musician at all, so I find it fascinating, to actually meet someone who can create the kind of things that you do. But all of your music, the bits that I listened to, were so powerful, and I found it very dramatic, which I loved. And sort of reading about your background, the way you came to music, it doesn't seem like you were necessarily sort of destined right from the word go to be a musician. That you said at one point that you sort of chose composing because it was quite difficult.
Yes. Absolutely. Well, that's true, and it's still true, unfortunately. I used to be interested in the visual arts, and for a period I looked at photography, and I planned to get back to it. And even working on this work, there are moments of crisis of confidence. Can I really compose? And
surely not for someone who's done so much.
I have to say, a lot of my music is really stolen, borrowed, referenced, and I can sort of rationalize this to say there's so much music in the world. Really, so much. Why would one add to it unless one added something really extraordinary? And I didn't know if I could do that. But what I can do is kind of reconsider the music that is around me. So reinterpret it, present it in a new look. So it's like having tinted glasses you put on the glasses, or distorting glasses, or distorting mirrors. So it gives a new look to something which is familiar or which already exists.
Surely that must be what a lot of art is, though. Really.
Well, this was one of the elements, I guess, of postmodernism to reconsider the past and to quote from. But that's what I do a lot. I have to say, I was listening through to the whole piece yesterday, and I was quite impressed.
It's a wonderful feeling to have.
My goodness, did I do that? Wow, phew.
Oh,
because there are moments you think, oh, this is too hard, and this doesn't make sense, and but as I say, the work began 23 years ago, and the dances were done, like over 10 years ago. So that was out of the way. And then the Maori songs, I worked on those about 6 years ago with my Maori singer, and we did it in a chamber version. So the really only new ones are the Spanish songs, and revisiting the other material and then putting it all together. Oh, and the arrangements of the Bizet, so that's new. So in a way, I'm glad that it's taken so long, because I feel confident that it actually is all strong.
Yes.
Whereas if I had to create it, within 6 months or a year, I don't think I could have done it, or it certainly would be much thinner and not as strong. I saw the guitar as being transformed, like the dancer transforms himself into a Hawaiian hula dancer or Spanish gypsy, new costume, new dance, new persona. So the guitars, likewise, we change the sound of the guitar, so it sounds like a Spanish guitar. It sounds like a Hawaiian guitar or a ukulele. It sounds like a Middle Eastern guitar. It sounds like an African harp.
It's fantastic. I mean, I'm really, really looking
Yes.
forward to it because it
Yes.
it seems like it's going to take the audience on a real journey.
Yes, yes.
Which is exciting
Yes,
for people.
yes. Well, I hope so. I hope that people don't come too drunk and too giggly, wanting to laugh from beginning to end, because they have to shut up when the women are singing. I'm sure the women will shut them up.
Definitely. And to have Warwick Broadhead involved as well, it must be another exciting element for you.
Well, I have to say, that's another sort of wake up in the morning inspiration. Warwick was my choice all those years ago, 23 years ago, when it was going to be a ballet.
Wow.
And I'd met Warwick and I'd been seen some of his work, and he's sort of a total marginal artist, very imaginative, totally himself.
I've actually performed in one of his shows.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Well, he's very proud to say he's never received $1 from Creative New Zealand. You know, he's a real independent, and he works from instinct. He makes extraordinary things out of nothing.
Yes, absolutely.
And then when the APO said, no, you can do the show as it was conceived, you know, with these singers and the dancer and so on. And we were fishing around for somebody who could be a choreographer and a director, maybe in one person. Or it was problematic because we went through a few options and time was too short or people had other commitments. And I woke up in the morning and I thought, oh my God, Warwick, he's the ideal person. And also, I have to say, I thought it was important that the person was gay, that, you know, so many of the films we see and the shows we see, you know, you have gay characters performed by straight people. Well, gays want to reclaim the right to play themselves. So the dancer had to be a gay dancer, and I wanted the director to be gay, to kind of, you know, have total intuition, what's the word, empathy with what they're doing. I shouldn't give the secret away, but I will. Warwick has made some suggestions about things which are just a bit too off the wall. But one was that we should use the organ in the show. He said, this is about men loving men, and when you come into the town hall, what do you see? You see a giant organ.
I can imagine Warwick saying it.
So we've got to use it. So we have one chord from the giant organ. And Carmen was going to play it, but I think it's a bit... Carmen is going to be in platform shoes with a huge dress, and I think to be on the stool and to get off the stool and not fall off on.
We don't want Carmen falling down the stairs.
So I think maybe somebody else plays that one chord, but Warwick, we can credit Warwick with that.
That's wonderful.
Magnificent moment on the giant organ.
Well, on that note, thank you so much, Jack. It's been wonderful
Pleasure.
talking to you. Make sure you come along. It's only on for one night only, the Songs and Dances of Desire in Memorium Carmen Rupe. So please come along and see it, 8th of March. It's really going to be wonderful. I'm so excited. Thank you.
Thank you.